Well, everybody, welcome back to the Trig podcast. Joe goes, Steven, it's beautiful. Friday, October 17th, 2025. It's been a while, huh? I went from like every day, 3 times a day to like never. I'm back. It's been a busy week at work and home. But I want to talk today about what is it like to be an achiever. Enneagram 3. If you're familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 3. And perhaps you are one, or you have a friend or a family member. You don't know what an Enneagram type is. You can go to enneagraminstitute.com and take a test. It's a personality test, basically, that tells you what your type is. There are 9 types, and I'm a 3, and that's the achiever. So I want to give you a little funny, I guess, and also a bit not so funny update or reality on what it's like to be a 3, in case you can relate. Before I get into that, let me see. It's been, like I said, a super busy week. We have a lot of events coming up at church, one called the Fall Festival, which is a week from tomorrow. And then next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, also a week from this Sunday, is what we call Reformation Sunday, which is a big deal. And then we have a brass section that's playing, so I'm organizing that, and also some strings. And then I submitted a song to a songwriters initiative that I'm a part of, a group. So that's exciting, just to see what people think. We'll go over the songs on Tuesday coming up. Also, of course, if you're a Dodger fan, come on now. Come on, somebody. We're one win away from the World Series. People say we're buying championships, but oh well. Let's see what else. I've also had some pretty low times, I'm not going to lie. I always like to be in my heart with you. Sometimes where I felt desperate, alone, sad, even just yesterday. So what I did, first on Monday, I went to counseling, and that always helps me. I go every other week. Sometimes I go every week. Sometimes I go once a month, depends. That really helped me. And then, I don't know if it was in counseling, I wrote a thing. Maybe I'll read it for you on anxiety. That might be helpful to you. Let's see, where is my phone? Here it is. It's a note to myself in case you are an anxious type or you have an anxious type in your life that helped me to calm that down. Let me see. I'm going to look it up here really quick before we get into it. So this is called Talking to My Anxious Part, a gentle message for me. And then here's the message. Hey, little one, I feel you showing up again. You're worried, tense, bracing for something bad. I know you're trying to protect me. Thank you. You've carried me through some really hard times, but right now you can rest. I've got this. God and I, we got this. The grown-up me, the calm, grounded, wise me is here right now. You don't have to run, fix, or control. That's so good. You don't have to run, freeze, I would say for me, fix or control. You can just breathe. We're safe in this moment. David is okay, meaning me. Rochelle, my wife, is okay. I'm okay. And then also my son and daughters are okay. We're loved. We're still moving forward. And then 3 steps here. Breathe. You're safe. We're moving forward. Wow. For me, I'm telling you, that whole idea of we're moving forward, you're safe, is so huge. Speaking of Enneagram 3 and anxious types. So let's see what else. I led chapel. I think I've mentioned chapel on Monday afternoons. I have chapel practice on Mondays and then chapel service on Wednesdays. On Mondays, I work with about 6-7 kids. They're all 6th graders, maybe 1/7. Yeah, mostly 6th and 7th graders. And ironically, I've never worked with kids. I never really wanted to, but these last few years I've worked with mostly 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And it's been a joy. I mean, every Monday I go to the class that I teach excited, and I leave excited. Something about this group has been a gift from God. They're just so into it. Quality, respectful, beautiful kids. What a joy. And then on Wednesdays, they sing with me once a month, which I think I'm going to move that to twice a month. I think they're ready. But right now it's just me and then them once a month. But so on Wednesday, I sang some songs that they love, The Prodigal, and then a song by the way, this is an amazing story that one of my first graders gave me. He said, "I love this worship song." And then afterwards, I said, "Did you hear we did the song that you love? It's called King of Hearts by Brendan Lake." And you know what he told me? He's like, "Okay, now you can come over to my house and I can give you more songs that I love." I think I need to take him up on that because his mom actually came up to me and she said similar stuff. How they love worship, they love chapel. She teaches at Talbot, where I went to school, Talbot Seminary. Shout out to Biola. And so I don't know. Maybe there's a connection there that we can make. So that was beautiful to sing on Wednesday. So yeah, like I said, it's been a week of some lows and some positive things. But anyway, let's get into the content. So I was talking about what an Enneagram 3 is like. And the reason why this came to mind is because yesterday I did a project with my team, working on sound and all the usual stuff, speakers and trying to fix things. Stuff that I really don't really enjoy. Stuff that I really don't really enjoy. Stuff that I don't enjoy. It's not, I mean, yes, obviously as a musician, tech is a part of my thing, but I'd rather be working with music, not with the behind the scenes. But anyway, I was helping my friend, and it was typical 3: efficient, quick, let's get to this, let's get it done. And so we got to the end of a couple hours and we got things working. But then the person who's also kind of has an opinion on this, sound in church, complained. And so now we have to go back and fix the problem. And that is so not happiness. It's such the worst thing you can do to a 3 is you missed a step or someone is complaining. Even though in my heart I know that what we did is the best thing, but in some ways I've learned through the years as a pastor and working in church that you have to, you have to listen to people, especially this person because he's involved in this area. And so in some ways I feel like I missed a step, so I feel guilty. In other ways, I know that we had to move ahead. This has been an issue for about 3 months that no one has done anything about. So I finally, in my 3ness, went yesterday and took care of it. But now, where a rational person, a logic type, would say, okay, now we have to fix this and that and address concerns and complaints. For me, it's like failure. It's like I screwed up, which is very 3. Another issue is a week from, speaking of Sunday, so in a week or so, we're going to have music and the brass and strings and all these things that are so fun and beautiful. So I sent the music out to my team to check because it's all copied to, obviously, to digital. And in that process, some things get lost in the translation. And because I'm not an admin person, I had someone do it for me. And I thought I checked, but again, I'm not a details person. I probably, again, quote, didn't check hard enough, or maybe I did check. Anyway, I sent the music out to the team, and then the director said, hey, there's some pages missing. Now, I had sent the music just to the director ahead of time to say, please check my math, please check the music, make sure it's accurate. He said, yep, it's fine. And now it's missing a bunch of pages. So that makes me mad. And again, though, as a 3, it's like, oh, that's my fault. I should have known. I should have versus saying, no, this is what I did. I thought I did all the right things. You told me it was all good, and now you're complaining. I have a hard time saying you this, you that. I take it all like I screwed up. And as a 3, that I personally am a failure and that I belong on the streets because, it's... We as 3s are a paradox of these huge, I'm amazing, and then these terrible lows of I am terrible. And because the achiever in us, a little bit of Enneagram 3 here, our behavior, we achieve to be admired. We don't achieve just to be the best for our own sake or to feel accomplished. We do it to be admired because somewhere along the line, in our childhood, we felt without support, and we began, in my case, to realize that music was my way to gain, I don't know about approval, but definitely to find a way forward. People kept saying, wow, you're so amazing at school and at church and at music, and singing all these things, rock star, you're so, all that stuff, right? And I mean, I don't have an ego when it comes to that. Well, I do have an ego. But what I'm trying to say is that it's something that I did it more to be admired, I think, than to be awesome. It wasn't like I want to be the best musician. I'm not the best musician, not the best vocalist, but what I do have, I do it in a way that can impact a room for Jesus. So when complaints come or when I'm not on top, then it can be a pretty sad day. The saying goes that there's nothing worse than a sad Enneagram 3 or a 3 that has failed or that isn't succeeding. And, that's been my story the last 10 years since my church. And when I was the lead pastor and all that fell apart in 2020, so 5 years ago, feels like 50. I would say ever since then, I've been in a sad place. But here's the thing. I don't think that sadness is all bad, because that sadness is really more accepting of the fact that maybe that just was meant to be, or it wasn't meant to be. That even though I succeeded as a pastor for 10 years as a lead pastor, I also made a lot of mistakes in my leadership style, mostly coming out of my 3-ness. Not including people, not slowing down, not addressing concerns, kind of like the whole thing with the organ yesterday, with the whole tech and music and organ thing of yesterday. And so where my 3-ness wants to defend and be mad and angry and anxious, really, my 6, which is where the 3 goes in when the 6 and the 9, the 6 is the loyalist or the community person, the more of a kind of a we versus me. The 9 is peace, so the peacemaker. So when I'm at my best is when I bring people together and I work with others, not competing, not trying to beat them up, beat them over the head, not trying to be better than them, which is the natural 3 energy, it can be very toxic. But instead, when I work together, I collaborate without blame. Instead, I just bring my genius, my insights, my fixing issues, my efficiency, but with love and care. And when I do that, which I do that so much more, i.e. chapel, i.e. special Sundays, I mean, you name it, I can see the difference. People feel loved, they feel included, they feel happy. When I drag people, like I used to do pretty much every day, when I drag people, which is what I used to do pretty much every week, every time, then things might get done, but there's a lot of dead bodies in the process. That's what pain and, quote, sadness has taught me. And that's been good and painful. Even now when I'm working with some family things, and patience is something that I've, in some ways I'm thankful that I've become more patient, that I've been forced to basically slow down. That now that I'm working with my family on some things, it's been an easier, not easy, but easier thing for me. Versus come on, let's just get going and let's fix this problem and let's just shape up or ship out or go home, which is very 3. It comes out of that nervous energy to be wanted, loved, accepted, versus realizing that God is in the people. That for 3s, God is in working with others. I'm never going to be a social butterfly or a 7 or a 2 or an extrovert as far as socialness. I'm an extrovert when it comes to productivity and efficiency, which is more left brain kind of get things done and not very personable. When I'm at my best is when I am personable, when I slow down, when I fall into my heart. So even right now, I can feel myself going a million miles an hour. If my wife was sitting next to me, she would say, "Breathe, David, breathe." Let me finish with a heart story yesterday. So I met twice with my team about this music and organ and speakers and all these things that I'm working on. And at the end of the first session, we worked together for 2 hours, and I came back for 2 more hours. At the end of the first 2 hours, I was pretty cutthroat with my team. And I was about to leave and just leave it at that and feel like, okay, good. At least we fixed some problems, even though I didn't really listen. I didn't really collaborate. I'm more mandar, boss people around, which is not my best asset. Anyway, so at the end of that first hour, I sat down with my team and I just said, hey, let me tell you how I'm feeling. And I was talking about my heart, not to-dos. And it was very, very good. I told my team that I felt sad, that I felt frustrated about other things. I apologized, explained why I'm so tense. I got into my heart. And then we prayed, and it was a beautiful moment that wasn't forced. I wasn't trying to be Mr. Pastoral. I was more broken and saying, I'm dealing with so many tensions. I'm sorry for who I'm becoming. I don't want to be that person. And it was a very special moment that brought my team together. And then when I came back the afternoon, it was, I must admit, more of the same tension stuff, because then we had another person in the room and it got tense pretty quick. So this is an ongoing battle for me and for us achievers. Anything that's personality, that is who you are, and is an ongoing battle. First, to even know who you are, to realize that what you do is what you do, not what everyone does. It's not the only way to live life. Every personality type deals with conflict or stress or with peace and quiet in different ways. People often would say to me, go and be active, and that's just not how I find peace. Other people, that is how they find peace, to be active, to get into their bodies physically and exercise. And so other people, they overthink, and so they need to get into their feelings. But if you're more of a thinking type, that's the last thing you want to do, is to feel sadness or loneliness or rejection. For those of us who are heart types, we love those things, but we can overdo it and not think clearly or not act. And so everyone falls into these traps of being blind to ourselves, what's called the unconscious motivations. And so all of that is part of the process of growing, learning, becoming the best version of yourself, as people say, and learning to be awesome. So that's basically it. That's kind of what's going on. And I want to thank you for being here always. Thank you for your support. I will see you next time. Adios.